everybody, welcome to Tony's Bonsai. It's been almost a year now since Tony died, and a lot of people have been asking if I can do a bit of an update on some of his trees. So, here goes. One of Tony's projects involved doing some planting at the end of my garden. You might remember we dug out this area and planted a lot of trees. The last ones he planted were these, which are a Japanese larch, and they really have survived very well. And they're looking very healthy. Of course, he twisted up the trunks quite a lot. Regulars to his site will remember what he did to the trunks of trees when he was first growing them, in order to give them some character. Those are doing very well. But first of all, he planted some maples in here, or aces, I'm not sure. I think they're both. But the first one he planted here was called an Arakawa, and then he went on and did a Dishojo, and then a Saigon, and then a Shishigashira. Now this is a one that's difficult to grow, and I rather like it, this one. It's got quite a dense growth on it, and that looks very healthy. He then continued to plant again Arakawa, Dishojo, Saigon, and that was another Shishigashira, but that died. And then in the middle he planted some other ace. That's nice. People recognise these and they'll know what they are. I think that's a phoenix. It's a gorgeous tree. And then this one, I'm not sure what that one is, but you can see that they are really quite healthy, even down to this end with his acers. So he's planted these and it looks like they've survived. At the end of the garden he did some fusions. So this one I think is a crab apple, that one's a wild cherry, and the final one, people will recognise that, I even recognise that, is called a rowan. But as we go along the garden to the end, we can see some other work that he did. Would make a rather good bonsai. I said, surely not a chestnut. But he looked at the root on it. Let me see if I can show you that root there. He said that would make a great bonsai. I wasn't convinced. Certainly looking at the size of the leaves, I didn't think it was suitable, but it's what he wanted to do. And then, if ever he saw a hawthorn, he wanted to do something with it. So he cut these hawthorn down here until we got to this hawthorn, which was one of his favourites. And he really did work on it. Look at the trunk on that. But his favourite one was this one. And he'd hollowed it out. I think he got a chainsaw, a little mini chainsaw from Jason Hanrahan, and managed to carve that out. But that is thriving. If I put my hand up there as a scale, you can see the size of that trunk. So he had a good go at that. Another one he worked on, I'll move across here, this was a silver birch, and he air layered it, and he thought, I think if this survives, we can cut a little bit of a hole out in the middle. Anyway, that ain't survived, so that one didn't work. Tony managed to get some small beech trees, and he planted these in this area. He wired up the trunks and allowed them to grow in the ground, so they've thrived. He also got a row of something here called Fuji cherry, Kojo Nomai, I think was his name, or the name of the plant. He said these have got a gorgeous spring blossom, and I can testify to that. Absolutely gorgeous in spring. These look beautiful. Pity the blossom doesn't really last long, but that's a Fuji cherry, and behind are the beech trees that he planted, and these have just shot up. But then I think they do beech. They're pretty hardy and they grow, and you can twist and contort them, and some of the trunks on them really do look very impressive. Let me move into this one. That's not bad, that, for a trunk of a young tree. If it was here now, we'd be cutting and twisting them round. There's one here further back as well. This is one he dug up. I was putting some fences in instead of a hedge. And this is a hawthorn tree. And it's only shallow rooted. That would go into a pot. Look at the size of that for a trunk of a tree. And it's only a very small bush, really. I think I'll prune that in a bit. We've got here some of Tony's Rootover Rock. They all seem to have lived. Well, most of the trees he planted here have. Look at this one. He loved doing this. Got that gorgeous rock and then put some hawthorn in. That one on the left doesn't seem to have gripped as well as this one, but then the roots are just planted on one side of the rock, whereas this one, the roots go all the way over the rock, and so it really does have something to grip to. Let's move around this side. You can see there, what a nice rock. And then if we move to this one, beautiful. I don't know what the tree is. It looks a little bit like an eastern hemlock. That's my guess. But again, a nice rock. That'll make a nice display. Next to it, we've got another fusion. And I think that's a beech you put together with quite a number of little saplings there. I think I'll keep that tied up. This is one that's a bit of a favourite of mine as well. I think it looks lovely, that. I do like my conifers. It's a gorgeous colour. We move along to this one. Again, a nice trunk on an oak. That looks healthy. This one. Oh, look at that. A trunk that's all contorted. That's what he loved to do. Another one. He would probably have done individual videos on these trees. I did watch all his videos, but I can't remember the details of each one. This one. That's got a decent pot on it. It's a decent plant. Look at this one. Reminds me of an animal, the root of this tree. That's got a lovely trunk on it. And the nubari spreading out. We have a couple of trees here that Tony did videos of. This first one, I'm not sure what it is. It's a conifer, and this one is a Norwegian spruce. I only know because he put a label in it, but I remember him doing the video, and he bent the branches down and then turned them up again at the end, so that it would look like they'd actually been laden with snow at some time. I think he did the same with this one, wired it up so that the branches turned up at the end. I've since taken all the wire off, but they look a bit different, those. Quite nice, those two. I thought I have to show you this one. It's one of the last videos he did, really. I did it with him. We got another rock, and he planted this tree here. He called it his Lake District scene. He had a Land Rover and some sheep on it, and he enjoyed doing this one. That's survived very nicely. Well, hopefully that gives you an idea about what's happened to some of Tony's trees. If you live near Preston, Lancashire, and you're interested in owning some of his trees, then you can just get in touch and we can arrange a time for you to come round and have a look round, and maybe you'd like to take a couple home that can be nurtured. So that's about it for now. Bye.